Hello everybody, I'm Michael. This is a 5-minute review for Nancy Drew number 19, The Haunting of Castle Malloy, which is a really great game. I really like the game. It's the game that takes place in Ireland. That's right. That's why I really like the game. We have Donal, who's fantastic. He's just this angry Irish guy who stays at the pub all day long and forces Nancy to do his chores. He's just a great, fun character, and then he sleeps through like the end of the game, which is a great joke. The premise is that Nancy is here because she's the bridesmaid to Kyler Malloy. Apparently she used to live with the Drew family for like 6 months, even though she's never been mentioned before. But Nancy's her bridesmaid, and she's in Ireland, where they're getting married in this abandoned castle. It doesn't seem like a good place for a wedding. When Nancy arrives, a banshee shows up and destroys her car, and the groom is missing. He's been kidnapped. Oh no. So Nancy has to solve a bunch of puzzles, just trying to figure things out. So like Kyler forces her to do a bunch of bridesmaids chores, and she has to do a bunch of chores for Donal. There's a lot of exploring in this game, exploring the grounds, and that's not so good because it's very dark and it's not obvious where things are. I know a lot of people got stuck on like the sheep puzzle, just the puzzle of finding all 10 of the sheep, which is kind of a really tough puzzle. Yeah, usually I feel like this game is a bit too puzzle heavy, but all the puzzles are good and solid, so I'm not that upset about it. But I don't like the flower puzzle where you have to go through every single area of the game in hopes of finding these flowers, because some of them involve these are locations that you only visit the one time. Yeah, this game has too many locations where it's like you just go there once and that's it. And so how are you supposed to know locations there and when you're supposed to go there? Yeah, that aside, the characters are interesting. I really like Kyler. She's great. She's fantastic. She has like a 12-digit phone number memorized. But replaying this game now that I'm older and you know, I've actually been married, I'm like, wow, she's kind of crazy and totally in denial. We also have Kit, who has a black guy. He's the groom's best friend. Love drama because he's still in love with Kyler. And yeah. We have the banshee that shows up, just flying around partway through. That's really scary. Nancy has to find the banshee's hut by solving a puzzle through the swamp bog, and that's an interesting puzzle too. It's a nice, interesting location. And there's a sheep doll there that needs stuffing, so that prompts like 2 puzzles with Nancy where she has to get the sheep taken care of for Donal. I like mixing drinks at the bar. That's a fun puzzle. Playing music at the bar, that's not as much fun. I do like those, the darts game, not so good at, but Difference Detective. These are 2 arcade games at the pub. Those are interesting too. I really like the phone calls because you can call Nancy's friends, Bess, George, and Ned, and they're all at this pool party together. And I feel like that's a really good setup for those characters. Towards like the final third of the game is where the game just completely goes off the rails. And you know, Nancy's been finding all these clues all along. She finally puts like these printing press plates together because there's a printing machine. There's also sort of like a subplot with the best man, which I didn't think was that good. It kind of didn't go anywhere. We have 1 phone call with Alan Payne, and that's it. He's kind of ignored for the rest of the game. But Nancy puts clues together and finds a jetpack. Instructions for an actual jetpack, and she uses it to fly around, and that's how the banshee's been flying around. The banshee is just somebody who's been living in the bog for her entire life with a jetpack, and she's been flying around, and we have puzzles flying around with the jetpack. It's just so weird and out of nowhere. And then Nancy visits her hut and she gets captured, and she has to build a rocket. And it's just like, what is going on with this final third of the game? The one bright point is we actually get to meet Matt, the kidnapped person. We get to have a nice long conversation with him. The rocket ship puzzle's it's kind of bad. It's like a 5-step puzzle, and one of them is the chemicals puzzle, and that is just terrible, and it just completely destroys my day. It's really hard to solve that puzzle without dying over and over again. It's just no fun, and No, Fiona actually didn't culprit. I mean, Fiona, she's the culprit. She's the one who kidnapped Matt. She actually kind of didn't do it on purpose. It's sort of an accident on her part. I felt like they were trying to do something different with the culprit who's not really a culprit, but it didn't really work. It leaves the game feeling kind of empty without a culprit confrontation. Instead, we have that terrible, terrible chemicals puzzle at the very end. And so I think it's a good, decent game. Dark, scary, great environment. Love all the Irish stuff. But the final third of the game, man, I cannot get behind that. So good game, which sort of goes off the rails at the end. A 6 or a 7 out of 10, because like I said, 2/3 of it's good. Like the final third, I wouldn't go with that. So if the game had like a traditional ending where one of the characters is like, haha, I'm the culprit. I tricked you into thinking there was a banshee there. I would have liked it a lot better, actually. That instead of the chemicals puzzle, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could have had like a similar ending where one of the characters throws Nancy into that hidden area and she still has to solve like the rocket puzzle. But still, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching my review. Bye!